Hey guys, this is Tim, part of the Think Different podcast. I'm going to be speaking with you today about our app versus app segment. This is going to be about Spotify versus Apple Music. Now, if you've listened to our show, I've always prefaced that I actually like Spotify better, only because of maybe because it was a first mover. It was a first, not one of the first, but was one of the pioneers into creating a streaming music service, and we got our hands on being able to have access to 40 million songs right at the palm of your hands. So maybe that's why I have a love to it, and I don't like switching to a new thing, even though I love everything that Apple does, all the products that they offer. I feel like I'm still tied to Spotify. Like I've explained in other episodes, people used to hate when I worked at Apple when I would tell customers that Spotify is better than Apple Music, and I would give my personal experience about why I like Spotify better. And they'd be like, "No, Tim, talk about Apple Music, talk about Apple Music," especially when it was just coming out and it was trying to increase the subscriber base. Well, here today, I'm here to talk to you about Apple Music versus Spotify. Which app is better for you? Which app could be more useful? What offers more and more? So I'm just going to start off with kind of just a side by side comparison, and then I'm going to dive into actually going into each application, and then we'll be able to. So I'm just going to dive into going into each application, which I'm going to actually do on a mobile app. So I'm going to be recording my phone, and you'll be seeing every motion I'll be doing to see kind of how you work around the workflow of each streaming platform. Now, I do want to preface, I just signed up for Apple Music like 30 minutes ago, so all the music suggestions isn't mine. It's just part of their algorithm that I picked a couple artists that I liked, and they spit out these different recommended stations or recommended songs or albums. And then on the other side, with Spotify, I have a lot of content in there, and a lot of my music is mine, but I also share it with my girlfriend who likes very different music than I do. So you'll see Lizzo, country music on my dashboard. It's not me. I'm more of an alternative, classic rock, punk kind of guy. Country's not my thing, and this Lizzo phase isn't my thing either. But you'll just see that. So I do want to preface with that with both Apple Music, just signed up, so it's all new. I haven't used it, and then Spotify has a very varied type of music. So I don't want you guys to judge me on my music taste. But let's look at it side by side. Spotify and Apple Music each are $10 a month for a subscription to access to 50 million songs. Now, actually, it used to be 40 million. Or you can do $5 a month if you're a student. So if you're a student, whether you're in college, when you're in college, I believe you have to provide like a transcript. I know with Spotify originally, when I was a student with Spotify, I had to provide my transcript, and like I had to use a college email address. I'm not sure how it works for Apple Music. I imagine it's the same thing. So that's the standard tier. Then there's a family plan, which can allow up to 6 people, and that's $15 a month. That's for both Spotify and Apple Music. Now there's this free tier, so like free premium music. Spotify does offer that, but it is ad supported. A little bit of background for me. I used to use the free Spotify because I was like, I don't want to pay for my music. If I can get all these songs for free and I just have to shuffle them, cool. The ads were so annoying. They were almost unbearable. And I wrote to Spotify like, you win, because they made me actually pay for the service because of how annoying their ads were. They played the same ad over and over and over again, to the extent where I was just like, I can't take it anymore. So I eventually started paying for the service, and every time I listen to someone else's Spotify that has ads, I go into like PTSD. Now, Apple Music doesn't have a free service, so there's a little bit of a difference there. The only thing that they offer for free is their Beats One radio, which when I worked at the Apple Store, they used to play Beats One radio all the time in the back of our warehouse and stuff like that. So I got a little used to that. It's really good music. It's handpicked by different artists and stuff like that, and it runs in a rotation. But that's the only part that's free in Apple Music. Now, trial period, you can try each of the platforms for 3 months on end. So make sure that if you don't want to keep after 3 months, that you put a notification in your calendar that you have to cancel the subscription, because they will automatically charge you for the next month. I've already done that for the Apple Music. I could go over stream quality. Spotify is up to 320 kbps kbps, ogg, vorbis, or AAC. And then Apple Music is 256 kbps AAC. Not sure what that means. I'm sure that you sound techies out there and music gurus will know what that means. To be honest, to an average listener, you'll never notice a difference between streaming quality. And then, like I mentioned before, I thought it was 40 million, but actually it's at now 50 million songs that are accessible through this streaming platform. So that's the two side by side, kind of 40,000-foot level of what Apple Music and Spotify offer side by side. Like I said, it's basically the same thing, except for there's a free Spotify that you can use with ads, and then for the Apple Music, there's not really that. You can only use this Beats One Radio, which is kind of like a curated automated playlist. So let's dive in. I'm going to go into, actually I do want to throw out one more thing. With Spotify, from personal experience, I actually combine my Spotify and Hulu. So it's only $10 a month, and I get both Spotify, Hulu, and Showtime, which is included within that package, which is actually really nice. Apple Music doesn't offer these kind of like package deals that work with other companies like that. But it's really nice to have Hulu and Showtime and Spotify are basically only $10 a month. I'm a little disappointed that when Disney Plus comes out, they're going to be doing a package with Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus, and I'm most likely going to be switching to that because I've always been on the cusp about ESPN Plus content, and I kind of want to see what they offer, and I just want Disney Plus so bad, and then the fact that I could get Hulu with it as well would be really nice for only $10. But the caveat is now I lose Spotify, so I'll be paying for two different subscriptions a month. So I'll be paying $10 each, so that means $20. So it's a little bit more out of my pocket, but I get a lot more systems, hopefully softwares that I'll use. So let's dive into Spotify. I will be looking down on my phone that I have in front of me, and this is going to be starting recording now. I will preface with this. I turned off all my notifications. I hope they're all turned off, but we'll see. So as you can see, this is the dashboard. This is the home menu for Spotify. So on the top, you see all these country artists. I'm assuming the country artists, Seth Ennis, Jordan Davis, Morgan Evans, Florida Georgia Line, definitely. This is all my girlfriend. I listen to Ed Sheeran. The Front Bottoms is one of my favorite bands right now. I don't listen to Lizzo. I like a lot of emo music. I work out. And Two Door Cinema Club. And this is a great playlist. Have a great day. So it always shows you that you recently played up at the top. And then you can actually jump back in, which sometimes is things you've recently played, like playlists that you've recently played, or suggestions from other playlists that they think that you would, the Spotify program thinks you would like. So then you can go to top podcasts, which, hey, look at that. That looks familiar, right? I don't really listen to podcasts on Spotify. I mostly listen on Apple Podcasts. So this is only for me because I'm subscribed to our Think Different podcast here. And then another Keep the Vibe Going. This is, again, probably more playlists that are recommended from other things that I've listened to and artists I've listened to. So you can see it looks like it's all country. And look more like This Is Lizzo, which is This Is Lizzo is a playlist all about Lizzo songs and songs that she likes. So these are more playlists I imagine would be curated to her kind of taste in music and what her thing is. So it looks like the notification did not turn off. Thanks, Tom. How are you? I'm going to keep pumping through here. Some more of what you like. Again, more suggested playlists. State of music. This is all in the dashboard. I could keep scrolling, and it's going to give me all these recommended content. I like the interface. I mean, it's just so easy to find all the music that you want and to jump back into where you were. Now, here's the other tab, is the search tab. So this is where you can look under all these different categories here and pick like podcasts, and then it breaks down into more. So then Happy International Podcast Day, podcast playlists where you can listen to different episodes, and it goes into categories similar like to the other page, where if you're interested in like news and politics podcasts, then you can go here and look at all these. So it just gives you a really nice interface to be able to look at all these album covers. You could jump in, see all the episodes, gives you highly recommended ones on the top, and you keep going through that. So the search function is really nice because then you could search a lyric, you could search a song, you could search an artist, you can use voice talk, you can do the scan thing, which sometimes Spotify has a scan feature where you can use your camera, as you can see here, which is pretty cool. So it has like kind of like a QR code embedded into some of their album covers. And then the other tab is going to be your library. So these are songs that I've saved, so like my like songs or my songs that I've hearted. I have different playlists, some playlists for my friends that I follow, some playlists that I've made, some playlists that Spotify has made. And I could drop that down by playlists, artists, albums, and then I have a podcast tab as well. But again, I only have, think different podcasts here, but I'm sure other people would have varied different shows here and stuff like that. So that's the 3 tabs on the bottom. It's really easy and simple to navigate. I like how it's only 3. It's not too many options. It gives you all that you really need and to kind of navigate into this workflow here. Now I want to go into the player. So I have the front bottoms up here, Tie-Dye Dragon, off their new album. And anyway, so this is kind of the playlist. I love the backdrop of the color that matches with the album cover. I love the player. The buttons are so easy to navigate. You can go into here and pick which device that you want to play off of. You can listen on your computer, your TV, connect to a Wi-Fi speaker, and then you can actually change like where you're listening to. So I could change it to listening on this iPhone, Tim's Dot, or I could pick more devices. So I imagine my Apple TV will come up. Yep. And right now I'm playing the actual Cincinnati Bengals versus Pittsburgh Steelers game on my Apple TV. And then over here, you can see what I have queued up in your queue. And so you can switch it by toggling. So I can put West Virginia above somebody else. And I could change it. I can delete, remove from it, or add it back to the queue. Not sure why it gives that option if it's already in the queue. And then up here, I can go to the album. So this is the QR code that I was talking about. So it has, if you were to scan that on somebody else's phone, you'd be able to go right to that album there. And so you could see like it, you can add to playlist, add to queue, go to radio, all that stuff. So sometimes for certain songs and certain artists, the Spotify actually has like videos that play with the songs or like lyric videos, which is pretty cool. I know Apple does that as well, and we'll dive into that soon too. But this interface is just really nice. Spotify is nice because it integrates with almost everything. It integrates with your, Amazon Echo Dots or all those speaker system, Google Play, CarPlay. Now integrates with CarPlay. You can set it up. It integrates in Waze. So if you're using Waze, you can actually use the player right on the Waze menu, on the like a directional menu. It integrates with what else? Google Maps too. You can get different widgets. You can actually go to Spotify.com and play a player from any desktop, which you can't currently do with Apple Music, which is a huge thing to kind of dive into. Like they're now in a beta testing right now to actually put a physical site out there, a desktop site out there, but it still hasn't been released for the full public. So that's like another thing. Like if I just want to log into my Spotify from, my work, but I don't want to play on my phone, I want to play on my computer, I could just go to Spotify.com, log in, and play my music. With Apple Music, you can't do that. So there's a little bit of an edge there. But yeah, that's Spotify in a nutshell. I love the interface. I love the black background, the colors and stuff like that, the use of the albums. It's really nice. And again, I've been accustomed to it because I've been using it for so long. I've seen different iterations of this software, but so far this is really great, and I have no complaints. Yeah, so let's dive into Apple Music. I am drinking Allagash White. This episode is not sponsored by Allagash White, but if you guys ever need a good Belgian wheat beer, it's delicious. It's made out of Portland, Maine, and it's my go-to beer. So, all right. So let's move on to Apple Music. I'm sure I would need some beer to get through this Apple Music. Not trying to hate. Okay, so I'm in Apple Music now. So this is a kind of dashboard here. I'm on the radio tab. There's not really a like home tab here. So you can see on the bottom. So I have my just I guess preface. I'm on iOS 13, so I have my thing in night mode. So that's why the background is black. I'm imagine on other devices it would be white. So I see the four tabs here. Actually, five tabs. Can't count. So that's already two more than the Spotify one. So it gives you too many options. But I guess because Apple Music technically has to integrate with iTunes as well and iTunes Match, so I can see why there's possibility of more tabs because there's so much more content or integrations that it does within the Apple ecosystem. So let's start off with the first tab. This is the library tab. This I imagine would be if you had songs from your like iTunes store or from your like physical hard disk. So if you had songs that you were on your MacBook or on your computer and you wanted to download to your phone, I imagine this is what the library would be. And that's why I have library syncing is off because I have a lot of songs on my computer that I don't necessarily need anymore to be on my phone because streaming ultimately is your entire music library. So you don't really need the physical song anymore. Like you used to pay like the 99 cents for the song or sometimes $1.29. You don't need that anymore because you're paying a flat fee every month to get all the songs at your disposal. So I could see maybe this tab going away soon because of that. But that's what it's going to be used here. I guess home sharing, that'd be cool if you're doing a family sharing. So you can actually play each other's playlists, share songs, stuff like that. I could see where the use for that is, but they could probably integrate that with another tab here. So let's go to the For You tab. So I imagine this is a suggested tab, just like the the Spotify's search tab that you were able to search in those categories. So recently played this probably from when I last downloaded Apple Music when I got it for free, working at the Apple Store for a moment of time. So that was when the new Kendrick Lamar album came out. So I was really into that. So now it's suggesting all these albums that they think I would like in alternative music. I am big on alternative music. I do like Walk the Moon, so now they're suggesting other music that is similar to Walk the Moon, which is super cool. I'm not sure if Shawn Mendes is similar, but they might be. He might be. And pop, I like pop. I like the Beatles. That's what got me into music. So it looks like it's suggesting different playlists and different albums that they think I would like based on my I filled out like a not a survey, but I had to pick artists that I liked prior to signing up for this so that it can generate these curated kind of guesses or recommendations. So I imagine that this is what's going on here of all the varied different things that it's showing me. New releases Taylor Swift. Used to be obsessed with Taylor Swift, not so much anymore. So let's actually hit into album. Let's go into Taylor Swift's album. Okay, so this is cool. So you can add the album. So I imagine that adds it to probably your library. So I guess that's what the library tab is for. And so it gives you a little bit of description. They have this in the Spotify, but it's really hidden. So then you can just add individual songs or you can add the whole album on top. So that's neat. And then, her discography's here. And then I'm sure this tab's cool, see what friends are listening to. So I'm sure if I had other friends here, I would be able to see what they're listening to. I have a lot of friends on Spotify because it connects with Facebook. So I can see what they're listening to. And a lot of people always comment, oh, you're listening to this? And I always have to say that it's my girlfriend and not me. Especially when it's like the Jonas Brothers. Nothing wrong with the Jonas Brothers, just not my cup of tea. So that's cool. So you're able to download the whole album, kind of very similar to the Spotify platform on how to interact with the album and artist. So now let's go into the Browse tab. Okay, so looks like we have like an updated playlist. So it looks like the continue to add songs until they update it. Fresh cuts, which I guess is like new daily music, which is neat. Music by moods, that's similar to how you can actually pick in Spotify as well, which I used to always pick like a study mood because I used to use Spotify a lot when I studied in college. So this is cool. So let's see if I hit into like romance. Okay, me and Bay, that's funny. I like the graphics that they actually make for these playlists. It's actually super neat. I like that better than Spotify's graphics, because usually there's just like a stock photo picture and stuff like that. But these are cool. These look like actual like art pieces. So that's awesome. So let me just see if I hit into like a playlist. Let's go to Slow Jam Essentials. Cool. So it has the artist cover on the side, the artist on the bottom showing the name of the song. I'm not sure. I shouldn't be showing this playlist, but I like it. Cool. I mean, that's cool. So you can add it. Doesn't look like they have up here up top. Doesn't look like they have like the scanning QR code feature that would be able to allow somebody to scan on another phone. So it looks like that is missing, but I don't think it's really a huge differentiator from Spotify. Heartbreak Pop, nice. Could have used that a lot when I was a kid. Essential breakup song. That's fine. Let's see what's in here. We are never ever getting back together. Someone like these are essential breakup songs. I Will Survive, Wrecking Ball. That's funny. That's hilarious. Cool. Skinny Love by Bon Iver. Awesome. Cool. So that's a browse tab. So it looks like Best of September, Daily Top 100. Spotify has something like that as well. And New Music Daily. Cool. Okay. So let's go into the radio tab, which I mentioned here before. Beats One Live right here. That's actually what is free that you actually don't have to pay for. So that's really nice. That's the only thing that you would get live. And again, it's all types of music that they play on there all day. So I guess these are all the radios, so you can go to like a different radio station for your artists. So like OVO Sound Radio, I think is Drake's station. Frank Ocean is Blonded. Looks like yeah, DJ Khaled, We the Best Radio, kind of fitting. So that's cool. So you can go to these artist radios. Same thing Spotify has that as well, but these look like a little bit more involved. So you can pick Apple Music Radio, so you can do electronic, hard rock, Disney Channel music. Hey Nicole, and lullabies. ESPN, which is cool. CBS. And then you can actually listen to the broadcast radio here. But that's cool. I did not know that. But you had to pay for it. Because I listen to, like I mentioned in the last episode, I listen to the Yankees games a lot. And I wish I could listen, mobile, but they make it very hard to. Radio by genre. That's cool. So if I were to hit jazz, love me some jazz. Smooth Jazz was one I played a lot at the Apple Store. It was a really great playlist. I got a lot of compliments on it. Okay, that's cool. Again, very similar to Spotify with these curated playlists to fit kind of moods, kind of genres, stuff like that. But it looks like the artists have a little bit more involvement here, more or less in reference to their like artists, the album cover and stuff like that. It's different from their actual album covers. So let's go into search. So search is cool. So now you could search by lyrics, which is a new feature. So I can search like, let me see, what is a good lyric to search? So look, that's cool. So I can either search my library or Apple Music's library. Now I have nothing in my library, so I'm going to search Apple Music's. So I'm going to type in should have bought you flowers. Bruno Mars song. Bam, brings it right up. That's super neat. I don't believe Spotify does that right now. I know you can search like a couple lyrics and it will kind of get you in the ballpark, but it won't get the exact lyric there for the song there for you. So that's super cool, and it looks like that's new to Apple Music. So not many people might know about this. So that includes all the songs that have those lyrics in it. But When I Was Your Man was the song I was looking for. So that's nice. So you could definitely come to Apple Music and say, wow, what was that song called? I only know like this lyric, and you could type it in, and hopefully that'll bring it up. Instead of going to Google, because the song will be right there for you. So you could either play it again, add it to your playlist. That's a really, really cool feature. I like that a lot. So let's go into the player. So let's just put on When I Was Your Man up top. Okay, this is a lot bigger buttons than Spotify's playlist. It shows the album cover up top. Again, this is dark mode, night mode. So this is going to look a little different on some other people's phones. So I guess I'm assuming this tab on the bottom that looks like a little message bubble is the lyrics tab. And I'm correct in that. So it looks like you could play the song while singing along to the lyrics, because who doesn't love that? So that's pretty neat. So then you can unclick that. Then you can AirPlay it, which is going to bring up my Apple TV again, which is super cool. But Spotify offered that as well. And I'm assuming this right tab is the queue. So I would be able to add songs into your what's next. Interesting difference here. It didn't suggest other Bruno Mars songs or other songs that had that lyric in it. So that's kind of neat that it didn't automatically add that to my queue. Whereas Spotify, they automatically add it to your queue. That's why you can move songs around or delete them because they just want you to continually playing music. So there's a little bit difference from Spotify to Apple Music in terms of workflow. Let's go back into that. I like the players. I like how you control the volume and stuff like that. Let's see what this 3 dots do. Okay, so you can copy the song, share the song, view the album, view full lyrics. You can create a station. That's pretty neat. Suggest less like this. That's funny. So I guess you could tell the algorithm for Apple Music that you don't like songs like this, so then it will change in its recommendations to you. You can also do that in Spotify. They have a thumbs up and a thumbs down button. So that's super cool. All right, let's get out of here. Okay, so the 5 tabs, I said in the beginning, maybe I didn't like that, but it's not as bad. You kind of have a different location for everything. I like how it's easy to get to the radio. If you were going to use that tab a lot, I could see people doing that because nobody likes to make choices, right? So you'd rather just throw on a radio and have to discover music that way. So I think having the radio as a tab here is actually pretty beneficial. That's Spotify and that's Apple Music in a nutshell. Trying to compare the two different softwares. Again, I'm not trying to be biased or anything. But I like the different integrations that you can do with Spotify only because you can work with other companies. So like you can use it on your Echo Dot. You can use it on Waze when you're typing in directions. You can actually change the song and stuff like that within the application. You could do so many different other things with it. Where Apple Music kind of has that closed environment where you have to only really operate on Apple products, which could be, beneficial if you're just using all Apple products. But the interface and the navigation of it is basically the same. Again, you're talking about 5 buttons on the 5 tabs on the bottom versus the 3 tabs in Spotify. But you're really gonna find anything that you want with a click of a button. So that's it. So hey Tim, after doing this segment, what do you like better? Honest opinion. If I had to choose, I wouldn't be disappointed with either. But I think I'm still going to go with the Spotify's edge, only because I know when I used Apple Music for a short amount of time when it originally came out, the recommended content wasn't as good as Spotify's recommended content. So I don't know if their algorithms are different or what have you, but I know that the music that Spotify suggested on when I was listening to like radios or when I was listening to like your daily playlist that they would come out with every week, it had music that I liked and discovered more than Apple Music. They were showing me artists that I've never heard of, which is not usually a bad thing, but showing artists that I would just never listen to on my own and stuff like that. And you like to find those gems of artists and stuff like that, right? Like, the Front Bottoms is not a band that a lot of people like, but I absolutely love them. Jersey band, and I only discovered them because they came to my college a couple of times, and I just ended up falling in love with their music. But I feel like if that was discover it on Spotify or Apple Music, that would be like a winning situation for me. I remember I discovered FKA Twigs on Spotify before they became huge, and I was like, they're awesome. And then they became this big band. So again, I still prefer Spotify, but it's really just up to you. If you want to stay within the ecosystem, go with Apple Music. But to me, Spotify still has my heart, and it's going to continue to have my heart. But leave your comments in this video below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you actually prefer Apple Music or if you prefer Spotify. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are and why you think it's better and stuff like that. For the future of both of these platforms, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I know like Apple Music offers this exclusive content, like exclusive albums or like an never exclusive album actually, but like exclusive like videos that go along with the album or exclusive like content. Like I know Frank Ocean had like an exclusive thing with Apple Music a while back when it was getting started. So Apple Music has that. What can Spotify do to differentiate that? I know Spotify was thinking about coming out with their own kind of like HomePod that would play and stream Spotify. Who knows? But what's the future of that? I'm excited to buckle in and see what happens because, at the bottom line, I listen to music almost 24 hours of the day. I listen to music when driving in the car or listen to podcasts when driving in the car. I listen to music when, going for a run at the gym. I listen to music at work. It's just continually. That's why I think paying for a streaming service, the most important one to me is a music streaming service, and which is why technically it's the only one I pay for. I use everyone else's TV streaming services except Hulu because that comes with Spotify. But anyway, leave the comments in below. This was really fun. I hope you guys learned something new maybe, or you just kind of validated a decision on whether to go Spotify or Apple Music. But it's been awesome. Thanks, guys.